What's up guys, I'm in the Central Pacific in beautiful Kiribati. It's my last day after spending 3 weeks in this beautiful country, and I just couldn't help but share 20 unique things and facts about this country, most of which should come to no surprise, but all have been my own observations. I've been anticipating coming to this country for many years, and it's definitely one of my top favorites. Here we go. As you may notice, the spelling looks like Kiribati. The TI in this language is actually an S, so it's Kiribati. One town in Tarawa looks like Betio, it's actually Beso. Same thing with Christmas Island, it looks like Kiritimati, it's Christmas. The 3 island groups in Kiribati, it's the Gilbert, Line, and Phoenix Islands. Kiribati consists of 33 islands. It has a land area of 822 square kilometers, scattered over 3 million square kilometers. That's a lot of distance. All the islands are scattered across the equator, which means there is an actual bend of the earth that you notice when you're here. I'm here in Abayang, where you can see the southern end of the island, but when you travel to the northern end, that southern tip disappears. You see whole island, to tops of trees, to literally nothing anymore. It's just one of those little things that you notice when you're here in person, and it is absolutely remarkable. And speaking of bending, Kiribati is the only country in the world that has been allowed to bend time. And what I mean by bend time, if you look at the international dateline, it goes straight down, then east, then north, then west, then north, then east, then south. The reason why it does that, because Kiribati has islands that stretch across the equator. They tried to make a way to have all the islands fall under one day. Because Christmas Island is all the way in the east, instead of it being a day behind, it's actually 2 hours difference from Tarawa, but in the same day. Most people haven't heard of this country, but if you have, and if you have done some reading or Google research, you'll find that Kiribati was home to one of the fiercest and bloodiest battles during the Pacific Theater in World War II. The Battle of Tarawa was fought on Beso Island. If you visit Beso Island, you'll find so many relics of war scattered all across the island, from bunkers to gun placements. And if you get lucky like me, you'll get handed an actual bullet from the war. The Battle of Tarawa and the war that was fought here in Kiribati remains a scar for the Kiribati people, as well as the Marines and the Japanese. But you can say that it contributed to a turning point in history. When you come to Kiribati and some of the other Micronesian islands, you'll notice that people raise their eyebrows. Something I've become very accustomed to is acknowledging people and responding yes by raising my eyebrows. It's a very weird gesture, but you'll find that it's a way to communicate here in the islands. Are you from America? Or I realized personally that it's so hot that sometimes I don't want to say hello, I don't want to say Maori, so I just simply raise my eyebrows. And in response, I get the same. One of my favorite things here in Kiribati is the fact that kids are anything but shy. They are far from shy. When they see Imatang, a foreigner, they'll happily yell Imatang, or say hello or Maori. They'll wave, they'll come and shake your hand, they'll give you a hug, they'll give you a fist bump. It's one of the best things I experienced in my travels is connecting with so many beautiful kids. They have the most beautiful smiles, and they have the most beautiful charisma when they see a foreigner. They won't hesitate to engage with you. But the best thing of it all is that kids absolutely love selfies. They love selfies so much that sometimes they might even beg you to take a selfie. Going on a more negative note, it is no surprise in the Pacific Islands that dogs are absolutely vicious. In Nauru, I made note that there are dog gangs, and that is the same for here in Kiribati. I can't say that for all the islands, I've only been to 3. Abayang, they're really friendly, but in Butaritari and South Tarawa especially, dogs are very violent, they're very hostile. It's very crowded in Tarawa, it's very hot in the Central Pacific. I honestly don't blame how dogs feel. On a personal note, I did get attacked by dogs. I did get nipped in the butt as I was running away from a pack of dogs. With that being said, when you come to Kiribati in the Central Pacific, you see that there are vicious dogs. Make sure you carry a stick. If they come to charge at you, pretend to pick up a rock. Guarantee that'll work, as it's worked for me many times. Unfortunately, that one time I wasn't so lucky, but I learned my lesson. I think the funniest, most interesting thing about Kiribati is that in the Gilbert Islands, each island has its own stereotype. I can't name them all, but from the ones I know, Butaritari is known for its girls that approach you and the most open-minded people. Here in Abayang is known as the Soap Island, as sometime in history, people mistook bar soap as food and ate it. In Maracay, they're known to have these boil-like things come out of their body, but actually worse than boils. Mayana is known for its, excuse my language, bullshitters. They're known for lying, making up stories. Tabituea is known to me as the Knife Island, as people are known to fight only with knives. There are other islands out there. One of them has like this pond where it has this liquid at the surface that people use to eat. One island has an abundance of frogs. You can look them up online and read about them. There are even some songs that sing about the stereotypes too, and I've heard them a million times here in Kiribati. Foreign aid has seen its way to Kiribati. The US have come and built bridges. They built water tanks for the people. New Zealand has built the road in South Tarawa and helped with infrastructure. Taiwan has done a lot of wonders here. They've brought doctors to the hospitals. Australia has even been here. Kiribati does have its share of problems. Rubbish is a major problem, especially on Tarawa. Beso Island is one of the most polluted places I've ever seen, with rubbish dumped on the entire beach around the island. I walked around the island and I was stepping on more rubbish than actual sand. At least it seemed that way. There's really no education on where to store your rubbish. People throw it in the sea, people throw it in their backyard. Fortunately, I have seen one garbage truck travel around the island. They do have garbage bags where they ask people to leave in a certain place, but the people are a long way away from understanding a way to dispose of their rubbish. And I hope that the understanding comes soon. People pee and poop just about everywhere. Lagoon side is not the best place to swim. I've found out on 2 islands so far, as kids pee and poop all over the beach, clean their bodies in the water, and then go about their day. I have yet to see adults pooping anywhere, but I've seen adults and kids alike peeing in any place that they can pee, despite a toilet being a few meters away. I personally haven't partied here in Kiribati, but binge drinking is a problem here. Alcoholism is a problem here. I've seen people toss back brews in the middle of the day. 12 to about 3:30 is the hottest time of the day. I've been to the hospital for my dog wound, and I've seen hungover people with road rash falling off motorbikes. Overpopulation is a major problem, namely on South Tarawa. Beso Island is by far one of the most densely populated places I've ever been to, especially for a small island within an atoll. Houses are built within houses. There's so many homes that it seemed like it would take forever to walk from the beach to the main road. But Kiribati has seen its share of coastal change. Causeways have disrupted water flow into the islands, causing erosion to a lot of places. This causeway was built in the 80s because it disrupted the ocean current. This is a new island. There's growth. I've asked people and they've noticed a change in their landscape. Some villages have been swallowed away, having to relocate to another part of the island or another island altogether. Unlike many atolls across the Pacific Islands, it is a reality that people face here. As far as resources go, solar power is everything on the outer islands. There have been foreign and internal programs to help educate people on how to install solar power. I've heard instances where people try to install their own. Unfortunately, it set fire to a lot of places. But since I've been here, there have been many people and many groups coming around educating villages on how to maintain and install solar power. I have to make note, the buses on Tarawa are very, very interesting. They're not buses like back home. They're not buses like chicken buses in Guatemala. They don't really fit the true definition of what I would call a bus. Then again, what is the definition of a bus? The buses in Tarawa consist of what I think are like airport transfer vans. There are about 20 seats, and they usually fill them up the most they can, even people standing. It's by far the most crowded experience you can ever experience, especially in the middle of the day where it's really hot. The driver's going really fast, the music's blaring. The price can start from 60 cents all the way to $2. It's quite an uncomfortable ride, but if you want to have a true Tarawa experience, hop on one of these buses. There are different gestures of how to do things around the world. One of the gestures is how to call somebody. When I call somebody back home, it's usually like this or like this. Here in Kiribati, you call somebody like this or like this. Call somebody like you do in the first world is actually considered to be rude. And speaking of rude, it is considered rude to put your hand over the head of a child. Doesn't matter where the food comes from, whether it's imported from Australia, New Zealand, the US, the best kind of food is definitely caught by sea. People fish every day, whether at night, during the day. There's different methods, catching fish at low tide, high tide, doesn't matter. I've had some of the most delicious food in the Central Pacific. With that being said about pollution, it is unfortunately very easy to get sick from the food here. People fish in the lagoon, it's a way of life. I found myself having, not to be personal, more diarrhea than I ever had in my life. Fishing for the most part outside of South Tarawa is very safe, but you'd be surprised you find yourself in the bathroom more often. I did make mention of Christmas Island earlier. I personally haven't been, I would love to go, but I have to make mention because it is very unique of an island. It is said to have the greatest land area for an atoll, comprising of 70% of the land of Kiribati, at 150 square miles. I hear the fishing is great on Christmas Island, with the ability to catch tons of milkfish. Man, it's really hard to get good lighting in these buyas. Speaking of buyas, when you come to Kiribati, you realize that everyone builds traditionally. You'll find buyas over water that people still live in. You'll find buyas on land. You'll find kitchens and bathrooms built in the traditional style. Pandanus roofs, leaves, maniapas. It's truly amazing. And one thing I noticed is that people sleep outside. They eat lunch, dinner, breakfast, or simply hang out, play on their phone, outside. That's because it's so hot. The best kind of ventilation, even if lack thereof, is to be had outside. I realize that people don't lay on mattresses outside, they lay on top of mats. I found that this is best because it is very hot. Laying on a mattress in the middle of the day, even in shade, it still can be quite hot. The sun's come out, so it's less bright. One of the strangest things that I've learned about here in Kiribati, which actually has a reputation for some interesting stories, even jokes, black magic. Black magic has apparently been practiced for many years here in Kiribati. People say that it doesn't exist anymore. Others say it does. You just don't know it. Black magic was apparently used many years ago by different tribes of different villages who would fight each other with black magic, like wishing black magic on an enemy, wishing them to get sick or die or something. One couple, the wife died of some natural causes, and in the end, the husband wanted the wife of his friend. He put black magic on the wife to leave her husband to come to him. And at some point, not long after that, the wife did leave the guy and went to this other guy for no explanation whatsoever. And the conclusion in the village was that black magic was performed. I can't exactly say that there's a great divide between a tourist and a traveler here, because I don't even think that there is such thing as being a tourist in Kiribati. Yeah, I've seen tour groups travel around the Pacific, doing war tours or other kind of tours that cater to older people that can't really handle booking flights and hotels. But other than that, there really isn't any tourism here. There is a tourist infrastructure that allows for people who want to experience Kiribati, but overall, this country is meant for the true traveler, the adventurer, like myself. Something I'm really proud of, and I think that's why I love this country, is because it is an adventurer's paradise. When you come to Kiribati, you have to come with zero expectations for luxury and for pampering. If you want any of that, Fiji is directly south. Here, what you get offered is nothing but basic, but if basic is okay with you, basic will be all you need. The beauty of the land and the people soars to incredible heights, and the rewards of coming here are beyond great. Kiribati is one of the most incredible countries I've ever traveled to, and if you're one that doesn't have high expectations, seeks adventure, doesn't mind taking a selfie with a bunch of kids, then Kiribati is definitely the place for you.